So I am Colette Portis. I am a member of the Red Development Group team, managing partner and COO. And my amazing co-host is...
And I am Reggie Kemp, CEO, and we specialize in business literacy.
Yes, and so guess what? We want you to be business owners who are always increasing your knowledge, increasing your connections, being your amazing self, and offering your greatness to the world. And so the red light is our opportunity to present to you our champions. And our red champions are the companies, organizations, and individuals who help us to build and grow the business community every single day. And so our champion today is just as amazing, and he helps us, and we are proud to say that we champion him as well, because being a red champion doesn't mean that you just champion us, but it also means that we champion you as well. And so today we have one of my favorite people, kind of a little bit, you know, he's just really cool.
Kind of
a little bit, you know. So we have the CEO and president, right?
Yes.
Of the Balch Springs Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Alvester Gibson. Hi, Alvester.
Good afternoon, ladies.
We're glad to have you.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes.
No, we're excited to have you, because whenever you're in his presence, he just exudes all of this energy. So we are excited to have you.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
so,
right.
Alvester, tell the people a little bit about you. We know you because we get to hang out with you every now and then. So tell people a little bit about who you are, what you do.
All right. Good afternoon. And thank you, ladies. I appreciate you guys having me this evening. You know, you're all my favorites. Talk about you all the time. It's just a blessing to be in partnership with the Red Development Group. But I'm Alvester Gibson. I'm President and CEO of Balch Springs Chamber of Commerce. Originally from Texarkana, Texas. Been here probably 12 or 13 years. I was part of the chamber back in my hometown. Co-author, owner of first and only African-American bookstore in the history of Texarkana. You all didn't know that.
Wow.
No.
So I'm an avid book reader, art collector, and I love health. And so on moving here, I connected with the chamber, and then, you know, the rest is history. So
very good.
Yeah.
So Alvester. Oh, go ahead, Colette. Did you have a question for him?
I did.
yeah,
No,
brain is churning now.
I know. This is one of the things that I love about.
I know. I figured I'd drop that on y'all.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Got all kind of secrets and stuff. But you know, we always get to find out all the secrets our champions are holding. You know, they be holding out on us, so we can find out what
they do. They do. And so you mentioned before that you own a bookstore, but I didn't realize that you were the first and possibly the only African American bookstore in.
Yeah, it's not possibly.
Wow.
Since 1849, we had never had an African American bookstore in Texarkana, Texas, and even with the historical Black community, there was never a bookstore. And so,
wow, I
was blessed to be part of that. It was just a unique situation how it all came about, but it was really a key part of business in Texarkana, and it was just like a safe haven for a lot of people. And for 13 years, it was just a tremendous blessing. In fact, the bookstore itself, as well as myself, is featured in Dr. Bertice Berry's book called Jim and Luella's Homemade Heart Fix Remedy. And I think on page 376,
paragraph 2,
you will actually see my name in there somewhere, as well as Oprah, Dr. Phil.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and it's funny because when I share this story, a lot of people who've been around me chamber-wise, they don't really know this because, you know, it's not like I broadcast it. When we get on the subject, I'll talk about it. But, you know, I love books. I had, you know, a dear friend, he's like a big brother to me, inspired me to, you know, to just start picking up books, reading. It's just a unique story how it all came about. But anyway, we were able to open up 1994 in Texarkana, and I'm telling you, we inspired a lot of people. Had U.S. Surgeon General at that time, Dr. Jocelyn Elders. She's on the Clinton administration. She signed her book, you know, Dancing with the Bear. Her brother signed a children's book, Dancing with Little Teddy. So when I share this stuff with a lot of people, they're like, what? It's like, yeah, you can go get the book and you'll see my name in there. But what I'm most proud of is the fact that we were able to inspire so many people to read. People came from all over because in Texarkana, it's like the Arklatex, it borders 4 states. And so people will come from all over and we would just sit and have talks. We had book clubs and, oh man, I love reading. And I always keep a book with me and I don't waste time. It's always a moment to educate myself. So that's how I kind of got here and, you know, the rest is history.
So I'm glad you shared that with us because Colette and I are always talking about having a little book club review every month. Yeah. But tell us, Alvester, so who does the Balch Springs Chamber of Commerce serve?
Well, the Balch Springs Chamber of Commerce serve quite naturally our immediate businesses in the community, but what is surprising to a lot of people is we have partners all over the DFW area. People come from Arlington, Fort Worth, yourself, you know, I mean, Rockwall, Rowlett, Garland. I mean, we have partners all over the area. So you don't have to be a citizen of Balch Springs to be a partner. In fact, most of our events, probably 85 to 90% of the people who attend don't even live in Balch Springs. That's what's so amazing. Yeah. So it drives, which is consistent with our mission, it drives a lot of tourists into the city. And we're just excited to be able to partner with whomever. And for me, as the president of the chamber, I don't just relegate myself to the city of Balch Springs. I go all over and visit, you know, from Southeast Dallas to Irvin, you know, to Lancaster, Grand Prairie. I go wherever there's, you know, great organizations because there's so many that I admire. I travel all over to support them just as I desire support for our chamber.
You know, Alvester, I want to know, I'm sure everybody else wants to know, and I'm writing down stuff over here, but I want to know how in the world did you get from bookstore to chamber president? How does that even work? Like, how do the two paths collide?
You know what? That is, look, I'm going to try to sum it up because y'all know I talk a lot. But I'm going to try to sum it up. You know, if you look at being a specialty store, and for me, I always tell people I'm intuitive and I have great clairvoyance, meaning I can look down the road and see things happening before it even get there. So when we started out in 1994, African-American books were hot, like Terry McMillan, Waiting to Excel, you know, J. California Cooper, but I actually started out in history. And so I started reading all these books, but then most of my clientele were women. And so I'm like, man, if I don't start reading some of these books, I ain't gonna even be able to talk to them. And so I started out doing that. Probably 5 or 6 years afterwards, I joined the local chamber. And so I started working with them and the regional arts organization. And so I could kind of see the industry moving. And so I always tell people, you know, look, when Walmart start carrying African-American literature, you better try to find something else to do because it was just difficult to compete. There were a lot of mainstream bookstores coming into the city, and the industry was just changing. Art was very popular, African-American art back then. And so it was really booming. And, once you see, things moving in a different direction, then you better move. And so I already had a lot of clients here in Dallas. I used to travel back and forth. I worked with a very, very famous artist. His name is Alex Rougeau. He's from Port-au-Prince, Haiti. But he actually lives here in Dallas, like a father figure to me. And so the transition was very easy. And so when I got here, I was introduced to a wonderful lady who was the president of the chamber, Sandra Wood. We worked together, but then when we moved into the Civic Center, she decided she wanted to step down and focus on grant writing. And so how I became president is very unique because, well, honestly, and I'm always straightforward, it's my passion, but it was not always my choice to be in this position. So, sometimes you gotta let the creator, just guide you, which is what I do well, and 8 years or more later, I'm having fun, helping people grow their business.
So do you think that you're a more effective chamber president because you've been an entrepreneur yourself before? Are you more sensitive to the needs of your clients and members?
Yeah, great question. Great question and statement. Yeah, I have my own businesses. And being an entrepreneur before, my passion with the chamber is, you hear a lot of people say when you are promoting the chambers, wow, I don't know much about chambers, and a lot don't really value and have an interest in the business. Well, if you're around me long enough, this light comes on when I know that a small business is having success. Yeah. That's what excites me. You would think that you put $1 million in front of me, but when I can see other businesses smiling, or someone tells me, hey man, I was at your Expo and Taste event and I partnered with such and such, and now we're doing business with one another. Or you referred someone and I got the deal, or you referred somebody and now we're doing business. You're talking about excited, that's what drives me. And I'm so passionate about helping people have success in the midst of working to grow the chamber organization itself. Yeah. So yes.
What's amazing about Alvester is, let me tell y'all, he is this excited all the time. This isn't just today.
Right.
He's always about to jump out of his skin, especially when he starts talking about business, which is why the Balch Springs Chamber is one of our partners, because we don't partner with everybody. Our group of partners are a selected group of partners, and they have to get it, and they have to have this passion and desire to really help people move from owning their jobs to owning a business that can help them to take care of themselves and their families for generations. That's what it's about. It makes no sense to just own your job. And then you don't have benefits and things like that. It makes more sense to build a business that can take care of you better than the last job you had. And Alvester just gets it. So one of the things you said, you started talking about all of the collaborative partners that you guys have everywhere. We're big on collaborative partnerships. We've got collaborative partners all over the country. And so we're big on that, because we understand that the more you collaborate with greatness, the greater your greatness is. So tell us why it's important for the Balch Springs Chamber to be collaborative across counties and cities, because I don't know that I know of another chamber that has a reach that's that far, and they're intentional about it.
Colette, great question. I remember when I attended a few years ago, it was the U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and it was downtown at the AT&T building. It was a workshop that I attended. And one of the key words when I left that workshop, which was amazing, was collaboration. But you have to understand, in order to collaborate with someone or another organization, it must be two willing parties.
Yes.
And so, yeah, and so with like minds and like vision. And so in order to do that, you see a lot. I mean, this has happened years ago. I mean, I remember when I was in Texarkana, I always had an eye for real estate, and I was like, boy, that's a prime property. So Exxon purchased it, but you could see Wendy's, you could see the convenience store. And so in retail, we have seen this happen for years. Nobody can do anything by themselves. You see, so in order to have success, you got to, partner with individuals and businesses with like minds. And that's something I've always tried to do, because even though it's three of us on this call, look, all three of us bring a different type of skill set. And the moment that you begin to think outside of the box in terms of not trying to do things by yourself, the moment that you will set yourself on a journey for success. And that has been the most success that we have had, is being able to partner. And if I can quickly share this, our EDC, our local economic development team, has been a great partner to the chamber. It's not always that way when you go other places. If you come to a chamber event, you know this by attending. You're like, there's the fire chief, there's the police chief,
Right.
there's the city manager. By the way, she's amazing and has been a major instrument in the success of the chamber. Look, I just got to tell it like it is. Prior to her coming, it wasn't that way.
Yeah.
And when she came, this big, great vision, I was like, oh my God, where'd you come from? Like, these are the things that I've always wanted to do. And so it's kind of like in Deepak Chopra's book, 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, one of the steps is law of attraction.
Yeah.
And so I'm really big on, you put good things in the universe, then those things that you desire, they come to you. And that has been my goal the whole time, is to have good people, great organizations, that I could collaborate with to have this success. I mean, we're in Balch Springs, a little over 27,000, but because you're in a small town, you don't have to think small.
Right.
That's good.
I have,
That's good.
in my career, when I lived in Michigan, and since I've been here, I've always in some way, shape, or form been connected to the chamber. Even when I wasn't a business owner, or that short period of time that I wasn't functioning as an entrepreneur and business owner, I still had some connection with the chamber. And Alvester, you're absolutely right.
Sure.
Balch Springs is probably the smallest chamber that I had a connection with. However, you are absolutely right about the economic development department there. We know the current mayor, the previous mayor, the police chief. You're absolutely right. Your community is supported, and your chamber is supported by its community leaders, who are all just as excited about business and small business as you are. And one of the things for me, because I've had so much experience with chambers, I've come to personally understand that all chambers have a different mission. And so while some might be interested in bringing in the Facebooks and the Googles, there's some like Alvester who you still have an interest in that, but your heartbeat is for that small business owner who can partner because you understand the value of small business. But I think what happens a lot of times with business, and this is a conversation I have probably quite often, people come to me and they'll say, okay, I'm thinking about joining a chamber or something like that. And I start asking these questions and they don't have an answer. They just gonna join the chamber because that's just what we're supposed to do. And I'm going, no, that is not just what you're supposed to do. You have to find the right one that's going to put you in position for success, but you got to know what success means to you before you can do that. Balch Springs Chamber is
well, and I think I agree, and I think that's the one thing that keeps us connected with the Balch Springs Chamber of Commerce, because you're always looking for ways to help develop their businesses, not just to give them activities or events, but you're looking for resources, you're looking for tools and all of that. And so with that being said, you took a couple of our assessments the other day. Would you like to share anything from those assessments that you learned, or was an epiphany?
Ooh, oh, it was an epiphany, all right. The interesting part was, okay, I've been part of the president for over 8 years. I've been with the chamber, for 12 or 13 years, because I started out as a business development specialist. And okay, for me, I'm so passionate about small business and helping people. Boy, when I took that assessment, I was like, I need to go back to the drawing board. No, because it asks questions to really make you think and to really assess where you are. And so you may think, okay, I've been in business 12, 13 years. I'm way down the line. I need investors now. No, that wasn't the picture that I got.
Right. Yeah.
So now I need to come sit at you guys' feet. And
Come on
but no, in all honesty, I would love for all of our members and potential members to take that assessment, because it will give you a real live understanding and overstanding of just where you are and where you need to be. And it's great to know those things. And so, I have a lot of work to do. And I'm just glad that I have a great team, to point me in the right direction.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I think, Alvester, we need to talk to the Economic Development Department and see how we can partner up to get that done for your members.
Yeah, our economic development team, under the leadership of the city manager, but Mr. Chris Dicer, has done an amazing job. I mean, if you come to Balch Springs, you will be shocked at the dirt turning into development and all the businesses coming our way. Look, I'm telling you, 5 or 6 years ago, it wasn't that way. And so the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
Also, when you come to our events, that's what you're going to see at the front is our city, our EDC team, right there with the chamber, because, in all essence, we all work together as one. We're a reflection of one another. And that's what you're going to see. And, we treat everybody. You look at the website, that's my own little personal mission. Everybody is a VIP when they come to Balch Springs. I don't care who you are. We're going to treat you, we're going to give you the royal treatment. I want to make my way around to everybody and make sure I greet them. I take that very personal, because when you take your time out to invest your time and your dollars into supporting us, that's very personal to me. And, I remember a great business owner, I got to quote her, because I never thought about this before. It was just always a passion and something personal. But Miss L. Bradley with Big Hit Creative Group, they're right there in Garland, their branding company. I remember I visited their business, right? And I was just listening to them, and she was like, oh, we belong to this chamber, we belong to that chamber and everything. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. If you know me, man, I'm like, if I ask you to invest in our chamber, before you sign the paper, my mind is already, how can I help you? Who can I get? First of all, I'm going to support you myself.
Yes.
Because, it all starts with me and the chamber. But I'm trying to think, who can I connect you with? Well, after months of us working together, she sent in this reply, and I remember she was saying that, at the end of it, she was talking about our collaboration and doing business together. And she said, with the Balch Springs Chamber, all chamber members matter.
Yes.
And I was like, wow. That's the chamber. That's who I am. Like, I don't care if you're the governor Are you, you know, me and the guy who cleans the building have a great relationship.
Yeah.
Heck, I'm in there with him sometimes,
Mhm.
mopping the floor and cleaning the tables, you know, all those things I take very personal. And
Yeah.
so I just wanted to kind of share that because you're right on. We have so many small businesses that need our help, guidance, and support. And I just want to add more value to them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's one of the reasons why we do the red light, because we have been really on purpose about who we do business with. And Reggie and I were just having a conversation the other day, and it got down to both of us going, okay, we have to make a decision. And at the last thing that we walked away with was, we need to really decide if this is who we want to do business with. Just as simple as that. And
Mhm.
that's going to be the deciding
Right.
factor that determines how we move. And that's not a partner of ours. It's a vendor that we actually pay for a service. And our question is the same, whether it's us partnering with another company or organization, us taking on a client, or us paying somebody to give us a service or product or something like that. Is this somebody that we want to do business with? And one of the things that gets me so excited about Alvester and the Balch Springs Chamber is you really do champion everybody you come into contact with. And if they're willing to show up and be great, you are willing to celebrate them, tell people about them,
Mhm.
support them. And that's just different. There's one other chamber that I feel like will do that. Now, they don't do it to the level that Alvester does, and I will just say that.
Right.
But that's the truth. I'm saying it, and I'm not being biased. That's just the
Right.
truth. But Alvester really
Right.
will drive to Plano to see your business. It's like, what are you doing out all the way, out here?
Right.
And so
Yes, I will.
what's amazing is when you
Right.
come into that chamber environment, you do feel like a VIP in that situation. When you come, and not just because of Alvester, but it's because of the culture that Alvester has created. So when you meet the mayor is excited to meet you simply because you're in this environment. The police chief is excited to meet you and hear about what you're doing, because you've come into this culture that Alvester and his team has created that almost demand that relationships are cultivated in that way. And everybody is super excited about. There's colleges and universities that are connected to the Balch Springs Chamber. I don't know. I can't think of one chamber that I have been connected with where a member of the chamber has been the college or the university. And I mean, and an active member, meaning they're at the events and things like that. They might, the chamber might provide a service for them or something, but active in the chamber, connected with the business owners is really what you get. And so I love Red Light because it really gives you an opportunity to meet the people. And it really gives you an opportunity to really look at what you have and decide, okay, do I have the best? Do I have what should really work for me? And the last thing that I love about Alvester and the rest of our partners too, we said to Alvester, hey, we want you to do these assessments. Alvester didn't go, I've been the chamber president and CEO for 8 years. I don't need to.
Right.
He didn't do that. He said, okay. And then he did it, and he sent us something that said,
Then he said, whoa.
yeah,
Yeah.
Woo.
yeah.
I'm glad I did it. 'Cause now I know personally how much help I need.
Right. But you know where you
know-
are now, and you're willing to connect with, take advantage of the opportunity, use the tool, so then you can be of better service to your chamber members, because now your mind is like, everybody needs to take this thing and understand where I am as the president of the chamber, where the chamber is. Now I need my members to know where they are, because then we can all be a better group together.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and Colette, that is so perfect because you were saying, earlier you need to know where you are, because it's like I've even heard, even when I own my bookstore, I mean, just think about it. If somebody had to ask me, what is the value of your store? Do you know what it's worth if you want to sell it? I would have been like,
So, Alvester, we've had this conversation. For the companies that have closed from February until now, did they have to close, or could they have positioned themselves to be sold?
Yes.
Did they even know the value before they close? There's so many things that business owners can learn from taking or hiring a business consultant to help them navigate the waters.
yes, absolutely. And that's kind of what I saw in taking the assessment. Like if you had all of these questions answered and you had all of these items in alignment, then it would, like Reggie said, put you in a better position to survive this pandemic. But unfortunately, you're talking about over 40% that probably will never open again because of this pandemic. And I'm telling you, from me personally, just being in business and being able to have that forecast, my philosophy has always been create the intensity before the intensity creates itself for you.
Yes.
So I'm looking back and I'm saying, oh my God, I was working real hard for this ED Business Summit back in February. We had a record-breaking event. Over 150 people attended. We had never surpassed 100 before. And we did very well revenue-wise, best that we've ever done. And then here comes the pandemic.
Yeah.
Now I'm still working hard, but what if I, was relaxed, and then what really made me put the foot on the gas is, I remember we met early on, remember?
Yeah.
We met before that economic development summit.
Mm-hmm.
I met with you ladies and we talked about, when we were sitting at the table and all these questions started coming, Al, what about this? And Al, have you thought about this? And I'm like, yeah, I thought about it, but I don't know. So
Yeah.
this is why that was my soft interview with you ladies. Before the real assessment, I got a soft assessment from you ladies.
Yeah.
And so it really made me think that, look, I've got to start putting things in order, to have the success, because you can have passion, but you got to have strategy. You got to have the data. You got to have the numbers. And that was one of the things that, that you ladies talked about is you got to be able to track. You got to be able to have the numbers. You got to be able to, add more value to your partners and members and people who support you. And so I've been in that mindset from, the moment that I got up from the table.
Yes.
And a business that have those things in order, well, there's no guarantee for success, but you're positioning yourself to have more success if you do that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I gained just from that assessment. It was a real eye-opener for me, and I definitely want to work with you ladies to encourage our partners to take that assessment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about
It's all about
knowing where you are, because when you don't know where you are,
Yes.
how do you intend to get to where you're trying to go? One of the examples I give is if you woke up this morning and you decided you wanted to run the Chicago Marathon, and the Chicago Marathon is tomorrow. If you have no idea where you are on the planet, how do you know what mode of transportation you need to take just to get to Chicago?
Look,
you don't know.
There's an old saying, if you don't know what was, then you won't know what is, and you'll be ill prepared for what is to come.
That's right.
And the challenge that we're facing during this pandemic is a perfect example of just that.
Mm-hmm. And I think what concerns me about the pandemic and the thought process is that there's a lot of time spent trying to get information on the PPP and on other things, but are they spending time on business development?
Yeah.
Are they reevaluating their strategy or their growth plan or their teams?
Yes.
Yeah, and that is so true. Look, we know change is inevitable. We're gonna have to change one way or the other. Well, you know, those of us who've been in business for quite some time, we know things are not gonna be the way they were before. We're all gonna have to change. We're gonna have to adjust if we want to have success in business. And that's what we should focus on. Look, I want to be aware of what's going on, what the numbers are, but then after that, you know, I've got to continue to plan, not just for the chamber, but I've got to continue to plan and strategize for those who are connected to the chamber.
That's right.
Yes.
That's
One
right.
of the things I've been saying since the beginning of this, before I felt like there was going to be this shutdown where everybody was going to have to go in. I felt like that was going to happen just because, you know, of what I have been hearing. And I don't watch the news. I'll tell you, I get the news from one of my friends and one of my cousins, and they know to call me when important stuff happens. One of them is in Georgia and one of them is in Fort Worth. So, so I get what I need to get. But at that point, I thought, okay, this thing is coming to a screeching halt. But one of the things I was on purpose about, and Reggie and I were on purpose about with our champions and our clients, was to keep saying to them, do not stop. We need you to run faster. We need you to run faster, and we need you to run faster doing these things. And because they have a plan, like those, some of the chamber members came to our boot camp in January. And those who came and who have their annual plan written out, they're asking the right questions. They're not stop. They didn't stop. They weren't taking naps. They haven't been taking naps during this time. I had a client tell me today. I said, "Well, I'm challenged with relaxing. I don't really know how to do that." So I said, "I'm taking a week off. Obviously, I'm on here, right? I'm taking a week off." And so she says, "Well, if you want to just, not have our session tomorrow, I'll be fine with that." So I said, "Well, you know what? If you want to do that, that's fine." She's cheering like crazy because she's like, "Well, maybe I can actually get a nap," because there's been no napping during this time because they have been they've been running a race, and I've been saying from the beginning that those around us and those who are connected with Red, they've been running the laps, and we've got 10 laps ahead of everybody else who sat down and started taking naps.
They've been working the plan,
and it seems,
and they're not afraid.
Working the plan. Yeah, right. And if you want to have success, you can't have that in your vocabulary. But I was telling some others I was talking to, it seems like I've been busier since the pandemic, as busy as before. Before it was planning events. Now it's trying to connect businesses with organizations that can support them and make sure that I support them. And so it has been just really busy, but in a good way. And again, anytime I can help, that's what drives me and creates the excitement, is when I can put two people together and they have, they have success. And I have to share this story because I was talking about it on our virtual lunch, and shortly after this happened, I had Atmos Energy reach out to me, Miss Sheena Morgan. She's been a major supporter of the city of Balch Springs. She was like, "We want to support someone, a nonprofit in the community." So I immediately called, our food bank, because I was like, okay, the food banks are running out of food. And I put them together. Man, she called me one morning and she was just screaming like she was at the boat down there in Shreveport. She said, "Atmos Energy donated $10,000. Man, you would have thought that I won $10,000. I was so excited for her. And, just small stories like that are the ones that really drive me, because throughout the year we have, as an organization, so much success. So many people support us from all over. And, we have to be able to give back. And I was just happy to be able to put them together. And she said, "Al, that was the biggest donation we ever received." And I was like, that's what I'm talking about.
But you know what's amazing? they trusted you, Alvester. The Atmos Energy trusted you, and you were able to make that connection. And so they probably made that decision the moment it came out of your mouth. And one of the things that we really work hard on and we strive to be intentional about is helping our clients and our partners understand that when you protect, my mentor posted something the other day, Judy Hoberman, that says protect your network. And we really strive hard to make sure that, one, you have a great network. Your network trusts you. When you open your mouth, they respond. But at the same time, you protect your network, because we've all been exposed to someone to our network who didn't follow through, make phone callbacks and things like that. And that has an impact on it. But they trusted you. And that's important because they probably don't normally handle business that way. But because they called Alvester and you said, hey, connect with the food bank, they were like, all right, well, we won't look anywhere else. We'll just give them the
Well, they did. And again, you know, I wake up every morning thankful, you know, for the partnerships and, you know, the team, you know, that's around me. Because, you know, we all know that we need revenue to sustain our business. But if you focus on that and not taking care of the people, you know, I remember I read a book by Dr. Jawanza Kanjufu. It's called Black Economics. He's like one of my favorites. He said 3 things that you need, you know, to excel in business. Number 1, you must treat the people right. Number 2, you must have a quality product. And number 3 is revenue. What do most of us do? We focus on the revenue. We ain't worried about the product. And the people last. And wonder why we're not having success. You got to take care of the people. I mean, that's what I wake up every morning for. That's what I live for. And again, if you come to one of our events and you come around me, you're going to know, hey, I love you, I care about you, and I'm so grateful that you have invested your time and your revenue in the chamber. That's what it's all about. It's a two-way street. It's not the chamber win and you try to figure out what you're going to do. No, we either going to go up together or we're going to go down together. And my vision is for us to have, you know, growth and success. And that's what I will live for and work for every single day. And I tell people all the time, I don't ever want to, I want to grow, I want to get big, I want to build a team, but I want to always be accessible. I want to always be able to be there for our partners and our members. That is very important to me.
So Alvester, you mentioned revenues. What are the revenue generating events that you have yearly, and have they been affected by COVID?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you just think 4 major events throughout the year, our Economic Development Business Summit, which is in February, which is turning into be an amazing event. And then we have the golf tournament, which originally was scheduled for June, but we had to push it out to October because of the pandemic. And that is the largest revenue generator for the chamber. And then at the end of August, we have our Expo and Taste event, where we bring in restaurants and businesses, allow them to showcase their product and give people an opportunity to sample food from different restaurants as well. And not just Balch Springs, restaurants from all over. And then we ended with, I say, a party with a purpose, our, you know, with our annual awards gala in November, which is amazing, where we recognize and honor organizations and individuals who have supported the chamber throughout the year. Well, you know, everything with the golf tournament, as we can foresee now, has been affected by this pandemic. So you're talking about exercising the 6th principle of Kwanzaa, Kuumba, creativity. Woo! Man, I'm doing some Swahili right now. You're talking about some creativity, some meditation, and standing up at this window with the blinds open, looking out.
You said Kwanzaa came early this year.
But you know what? You know what? I wake up every morning and I say, you know, God is great. And then y'all don't really know where I came from. After watching a mother who is my greatest inspiration raise 7 children by herself, never complained, always positive, and she just knew that God was going to deliver.
Yeah.
That's where I got that from.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just plug into the right source and right power.
That's
You
right.
know, and that's it. You know He's going to deliver. All you got to do is put the work in.
That's right.
We talk about faith and work. Put the work in, have the faith, and I'm telling you, you will have success.
That's
I
right.
And
love
that's
it.
what I live by.
I
That's
love
my
it.
philosophy.
Well, your mother is just shining through you. That is for
She
sure.
is.
That
It
is
was
for-
amazing.
yeah.
Right. We can tell
Yeah.
because you picked it all up. The positivity, you are always positive. I have never talked to you one time and you were not.
Yeah.
God is great. I mean,
Yeah. I love it. I
inhaling
love
and
it.
exhaling is where I start when I wake up.
Yeah.
So Alvester, do you have anything to say to potential chamber members on why they should become a Balch Springs Chamber of Commerce member?
That is just incredible. You know, I had this in my brain, y'all. Listen, you know, look, whenever you go into, because there are so many chambers you can join. That's just the reality of it. Colette, you talked about that earlier. Reality is you can belong. Look, I just told you about the young lady. They belong to like 4 different chambers. Hey, go for it. I'm all for it. Because you know what? When you come to Balch Springs Chamber of Commerce, look, y'all please forgive me, but I'm just telling it like it is. People ask me all the time, what separates you from others? You're looking at it. And this is not from, hey, this is not, I'm far from egotism, but I'm telling you right now, I will do, when you partner with the Balch Springs Chamber of Commerce, I will do whatever it takes legally to make sure that you collaborate. That look, I've been at meetings and I'll be like, hey, you need to call this person right now. They talking about they need such and such, such and such, and I mean you need to call them now. I will follow up for you. I will call you. I will do whatever it takes to make sure I connect you with what you need to support and grow your business. That's what I will do. And I'm telling you, it's not always that way, starting with me. If there's any way that I can support you, that's exactly what I will do. And if it's more than one business that's part of the chamber, we're just going to spread it out. But I'm going to make sure that they all get a piece of the pie. And that's just reality. That's just the reality. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure I help you have success. And you're not obligated. It's, you know, being a part of the chamber, that's a volunteer opportunity for a business. You don't have to pay your dues, you know. And, you know, I would just, you know, encourage any business owner that is interested in growing their business and having success and being part of a family that really care about you and care about your success. Hey, just try it one time and you'll see what I'm talking about.
I'll just speak on behalf of Red. I mean, we connected with Alvester as a champion for them and walked away with one Alvester being a champion, one over at Frost Bank being a champion that we met at a Balch Springs Chamber event. Miss Carrie Marshall, who we absolutely love for sure, who was the former mayor of Balch Springs. We've gotten so much out of, and I don't think, when did we even have our first meeting? It had to be maybe February, March or so that we had our first meeting with you guys.
No, it was early on. It was
January.
It was around the holidays. It was January.
It was
January.
So it hasn't been that long, but the relationship is so rich, and the intention of the Balch Springs Chamber is real. It's a real intentional place that is really about the growth of of businesses. I had a conversation with a friend who said, you know, I'm going to join the NAACP because it's going to help me grow my business. And I said, no, you need to join the Balch Springs Chamber because she's up that way anyway. And I said, no, you need to join the Balch. Now, did she take my advice? No, but here's what I'm telling you is going to happen. She'll eventually join the Balch Springs Chamber. You know, and I gave her the reason why. They do two different things. The NAACP's mission is not business growth, you know, and if you're connecting with that organization just so you can sell product, then that you're going in with the wrong intention. But if you connect with the chamber, they want you there so you can increase your revenue, so that you can grow your business. Like that's what the intention is. So know that we talk about.
Yes, that's our mission, the vision.
Yeah. So Alvester, here's one thing I want to know. If there is somebody who's trying to decide on which chamber or what chambers they're going to be a part of, if there were 3 things that you would tell them they need to look for or 3 questions they need to ask, what would you tell them if you knew they were out, they were going to decide to connect with a chamber? What would you tell them are the 3 things they need to do in order to make an educated decision?
Well, number 1 is, you know, you want to inquire about the organization from current members. Number 2, you want to come yourself, you know, and then number 3, I always tell people this whenever you join the chamber, it's a 2-way street. You know, the chamber, you know, our job is we create the atmosphere for you to have success and grow your business. But that means that you have to be there. So you can't just join, even though we, you know, need revenue. You know, I don't want just applications and checks and I don't see you no more. Then 3 or 4 months down the line, you have buyer's remorse. Yeah. I want you to come and I want you to experience, you know, what you're going to see. You know, I want you to have that experience. And again, it's unlike anything that you probably have seen, because when you walk through those doors, you know, you can feel the love in the building. You can feel the energy when you walk in the building. Those 3 things I would say are really important when you are talking about investing your money into an organization. And then join the committee. Some of the greatest things that's ever happened to me is because I volunteered to help other organizations. Volunteer with Red, volunteer with the chamber, volunteer in the community. You know, some of the greatest rewards come from that. But those 3 things, I would say, you know, check us out before you even pay your money. Is this really where I want to be? I mean, the networking is I always say networking is greater than money.
Yeah, yeah.
Because when you run out of money and you don't have no resources, I mean, it's no accident that the Creator has blessed me to be able to just pick up the phone and say, hey, can you do this for Red Development? Can you do this for STEAM Academy? Will you do this for such and such? If there's an opportunity, just know that I will do everything in my power, along with our team, you know, to help you have success. And that's my passion. That's what I believe in.
Absolutely. Alvester, you know, one of the things I say, I talk about all the time, you know, having earned 6 degrees and it's overkill and things like that. And every time I think about it and somebody starts talking about networking, it reminds me of what my grandparents used to tell us and my great uncles and aunts used to tell us. It is not what you know, it's who you know. We have lost sight of that so much. And at the moment that I really made the switch in my own life, in my own mind, that it was not about those pieces of paper that I paid a whole lot of money for and spent a whole lot of time getting. It was never about that. It was about the relationships that I built and the people that I know. And then and only then is when life really started to change, and I started to make an impact and leave an imprint on the world based on my relationships, not the paper that I earned.
Yeah, that's an interesting assessment, and I truly believe that it's like, just you gotta take, if you want people to do right by you, you have to do right by them, and it's good relationships. And I always say, my word is my bond is my life. If I tell you I'm gonna do something, I always tell people, if I tell you I'm gonna be somewhere, I'm gonna do something. If you don't see me, you need to check the hospital or the morgue. I mean, that's just the way I was brought up. Your word is your bond.
Yeah.
And I'm like that with our members. If I tell them, hey, we're going to meet at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock, unless something, major comes up, I'm in constant communication with them. And that's it's the relationships. And that's what I work hard to build is good relationships. You can have relationships, but are they good for you and good for the people that's in your circle? I work to build good relationships and good people. The people that don't do what they say they're gonna do, I don't talk about that. What I talk about is red development. You ladies have been amazing to the chamber, and we are so blessed to be in partnership and work like a family. I'm just telling you, and there's a lot of great things that we have in store that we probably don't even know that's coming down the line, and for our members once we collaborate.
I agree. And Colette and I say it all the time, win, win, win. But sometimes people stop at win or win-win. But ultimately, we want to serve our clients. So it has to be win, win, win.
Win. I agree totally. I agree totally. And ladies, I want to say thank you. I'm honored to be here with you all this evening. I was excited, when you ask. But, if you ask, I'm just going to do it.
Well, okay, so we always ask this question as the last question. Why did you decide? Because you had a choice. You didn't have to connect with Red Development Group. Why did you decide to connect with us and champion us and allow us to champion you?
Because we have like minds, and you ladies are amazing. And a lot of things that you shared and advice that you gave me that would help grow the chamber, it's good for our chamber. But like Reggie was saying today, Rome was not built in a day. I say the pyramids wasn't either.
Right.
So we got to work together and work towards the same vision and same aspirations. And that's what really, made me excited about connecting with you ladies. So when something is good for you, whatever is asked of you, you're just going to be there and you're going to do it. And this has been wonderful, for me. And I appreciate that.
We appreciate you all. This has been so good. I was excited. I get excited every Tuesday, because I get to talk to our champions and we get to have these conversations that normally we don't really get to have that often because we don't slow down enough to do it. So this has been really good. Alvester, you mentioned something, and so I want to talk about a project that Red Development Group is working on because I think it's important, and I want to make sure that we're mentioning it in this space. So one of the things that we are doing, my son just graduated with his master's last Friday. And he and I were having a conversation and he was saying, Mom, I'm blessed because I have a mom who owns 3 businesses, so I can just go work for you. He said, but my friends, they don't all have that. And so they're graduating and we worked hard. And I'll tell you, and when the group of kids my son is talking about are Yale graduates, Columbia graduates, Northwestern graduates, Michigan State University graduates, like these are his friends. And he said, they don't have an opportunity to go and exercise the skill and everything and the knowledge that they've learned. And this, pandemic now is really causing an issue where we don't know when we're going to get a job and what are they going to do to set themselves apart. And I said, okay, well then how do you think we could help in this? And so what we came up with is the Red Force. And so the Red Force is our new internship program. And so we are looking for recent college grads or college students who are juniors or more, or greater, who are looking for a place to hone in on their skills, sharpen their skills, network, meet people, understand business, who really want to come and do some work. Now, all of these internships are unpaid. They are. Now, there might be a little something
Right.
in, we ain't making no promises, but it is an opportunity for them to be able to set themselves apart once the workforce opens back up and we're moving again, to say, this is what I've done. And so we're doing this 2 different ways. Red has 5 intern positions alone. But we've also been talking to our partners to say, hey, and all of our partners are small business owners, medium-sized business owners, to say, hey, are you interested in an intern coming to work for you? Now, these interns don't get to just push your paper and stuff like that. You have to give them real projects and real work to do, so that they really learn while they're there. And they get to make a decision as to whether or not through this pandemic they become a Ford and a Rockefeller, or they go to work for someone else, right? Because Fords and the Rockefellers became rich through the Great Depression because they created something for themselves. And so we're giving them that opportunity. So if you all have some graduates that you know of, or if you all are looking for an interns, and maybe you have a need in your organization that you could use an intern for, then let us know. We're going to do these interviews. Please share. It's on LinkedIn. Share the announcement for the internship. And if anybody listening has a recent college grad, or somebody who's a junior or senior in college that would really be, but you got to come ready to work, because, we work every day. If they're willing to do that, we're willing to give them an opportunity to learn some things. Like, we're looking for somebody to be on our editorial team. We're looking for somebody for public relations, for marketing, for business development, for graphic design and video.
Marketing, business development, marketing. All right, Colette, I think that's an incredible, idea with Red Forest. We partner with Texas Workforce, and we've been able to get some amazing champions. But the reality is, boy, when you get college graduates or students with college, experience, then you really get some young leaders that kind of understand, look, I've got to put the work in order to have success. So yes, there's, starting with the chamber, there's, I don't have a permanent staff. So my staff interchanges with Texas Workforce. And so when we open back up, I know that, a student being able to intern with the chamber, everything that we do, that experience when you come out of that would be priceless. Yeah. You can take that and go anywhere.
Yeah.
At the same time, you're creating, that's what I want to do. I want to create a revenue opportunity for a young person to come in. One of my long-term goals is to have a junior chamber, so that they can understand how chamber operates.
Right.
The big chamber got to move further. Like, I'm a junior, but the Alvester Gibson Jr. got to keep moving before we bring in some young people, to start fundraising and having, events and projects. But I like that idea, Colette, because, that's something that we can use. There's so much of an opportunity there. From economic development to marketing to working with city leaderships. And we, just have a new mayor that was sworn in that you ladies will get a chance to meet, Dr. Carrie Gordon, who was a previous mayor that was just sworn in a week ago. So, I think you guys really, enjoy her presence. She comes with a lot of passion and energy. But getting back to this Red Force, I definitely want to collaborate with you all. When you create the marketing for it, then I would like for you to send it to me so I can send it out, put it on the website, and send it out through our constant contact. Okay. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people interested in that.
Yeah, and we have it, and I'll tag you in it on LinkedIn, and then we'll have
Okay.
Margie make sure she sends you the information over, and it'll be up on our website by tomorrow, so they can go right there and apply, and and these are not going to be the regular interviews that they're used to. No, we're going to ask some good questions, because the interns that we get, they have the opportunity to really help a business grow or not, or help a business fail, one of the two.
Right.
We want to make sure that we're pairing the right people for the right purpose. And we so far have 8 different businesses that right? Yeah, 9 different businesses that are waiting for us to send them interns. And so
That's great.
yeah, so we're excited about that. So we'll make sure that you guys get the information, and people can go. Tomorrow it'll be up on redwomen.win on our website. They'll be able to go and apply, and so it's going to be really cool. I'm excited about it.
Shoot, I'm excited too.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's going to be amazing. I really do. I think it'll help a lot of young people, and it'll help much needed businesses and organizations that need that support. So,
But I want to say one thing, Alvester. So being a junior, because this is where I don't want people to get stuck. Being a junior, senior, or a recent grad, and that could be you just graduated with your master's or your doctorate, has nothing to do with age. You could be 49 and just graduated with that degree in public relations. If you are a recent graduate, you're a junior, a senior, or a recent graduate from college, you can apply for this internship. So I don't want people to get stuck on age, because there's some of us still out there.
I agree.
Alvester, some of us can run circles around these kids. I'm just saying.
You're right about that. I agree.
Alvester, how can people connect with you in the chamber?
Best way, this is interesting, but directly to me, my cell. You can call the office 972-557-0988. But the best way is through my personal cell, 903-319-6668, or my email, which is ceo@balchspringschamber.org. So an email, text, or phone call, I'm there.
At balchspringschamber.what?
.org.
Okay.
O-R-G. Mm-hmm.
All right. I put it out there. Now you're going to start getting all those phone calls. You're going to go, what happened?
Hey, I get them anyway. So I know being connected with you ladies, they're just going to be flowing in. But, hey, we're looking to build a strong team. And so be careful what you ask for.
Right.
I'm always asking for it, and I'm ready. We got some good stuff coming in the future, God willing.
Yeah.
And we're just going to keep working together. And I want us both to grow and go up together.
Absolutely.
I agree.
That's my vision.
Alvester, you are so amazing. Thank you for always showing up and just being great. It doesn't matter where we see you at. You bring the absolute best. I know by the end of the night, you just got to be worn out. You show up every day. Like a 2-year-old. All you got.
Hey, I just, at the end of the night, I turn on my Sanford and Son episodes and just laugh myself to sleep.
Absolutely.
Hey, I love what I do. It's my passion. And so it's not work. It's my passion.
Yes.
I love helping. And I thank you, ladies, for all the kind words and for your partnership. I'm truly grateful. And I hope you can feel the sincerity in that.
Absolutely.
We do.
Thank you. Thank you all for listening, joining us once again for the Red Light. We hope that you got something really great, if nothing else, energy.
Oh, you're going to get that.
Right. Well, we hope you learned something amazing. If you haven't already checked out the Balch Springs Chamber, I'm just saying it is worth the drive. It is worth your time, because if you're looking to level up in your business and level up your relationships and level up on your network, the Balch Springs Chamber has been an important part of Red Development Group and helping us to make sure that we continue to go up. So I encourage you to connect with them, not just because Alvester is our friend, but I encourage you to connect with them because I promise you, if you connect and you are serious about your connection, you will grow in one way or another. So this has been Red Light. I am Colette Portis with Red Development Group and my amazing co-host.
And I am Reggie Kemp, and we were delighted to have you, Mr. Alvester Gibson.
Yes.
Thank you, Reggie. Thank you, Colette.
Everybody. You're welcome. You all have a phenomenal evening.